Okay, so now we're moving on to our next section, which are the overlooked Dreamcast games out there. Now, we're not talking about the best Dreamcast games on the system, but these are games that we think are actually pretty good and often overlooked through time. So when you talk about, like, you see those lists online of best Dreamcast games, these games very rarely get picks, but we think they actually deserve a bit of a shout out. And we think if you've got a Dreamcast and you haven't played them, check them out. So, Chris, would you like to go first?
Sure. So I think one of the most overlooked games that I just don't think it gets enough credit for being a decent game, and people just don't really talk about it, especially when they talk about Dreamcast RPGs. The one I want to talk about is Time Stalkers, which I really, really enjoyed. I would say it's in that second tier of Dreamcast games where you have, Skies of Arcadia, you have Grandia 2. Those are really the big hitters. Then I think in that second tier, you have like the Evolution games. You have Time Stalkers, and you have a few of the others. Like there's some action RPGs like Record of Lotus War and Silver and some of those. But I think Time Stalkers, for me, that was my favorite of that kind of like second tier of Dreamcast RPGs.
Yeah.
It did some really cool stuff. The idea is that like you're this, he almost looks like a vampire, but he's like dressed up like almost like something in like, I don't know, just this weird coat, and he's got really spiky ears. He's got like fangs and stuff. It's weird, but part of your world is like kind of broken away, and it's getting, all these worlds are coming together and stuff. So it's like I guess like time space is somehow being disrupted, and large portions of other worlds are coming into this one piece of your world and getting attached to it. So as the game goes on, the level area, kind of like the main hub world, I guess, continues to get bigger, and more NPCs starts coming, and it unlocks more stuff. But you're essentially going into different like dungeons and caves, and going in and trying to defeat go through and kill them all and get through. It does do some cool things. It introduced basically like the Pokemon style of like being able to collect pets and get them on your side. And then if you do that in a dungeon, they go back to this like little pin area, kind of like a little farm that you have. Where they go, and you have to like go and feed them and help them, and then they can join you eventually, and they're kind of like your helper pets, like when you go into the dungeons and stuff, which is kind of neat.
That's cool.
The one thing that I do remember people really didn't like about the game was after you come out of a dungeon, I think a lot of your level would reset, and so you'd go back down to like level 1. But I think you still kept a lot of your abilities and things like that you gained. Lose everything. I just really like the characters. I remember the dialogue, and you had this like really fancy looking butler guy like that come into your house, and because you're meant to be this kind of I don't know, maybe like some sort of like nobleman, I guess, from like long ago, like like the 15 or 1600s or something in our world, I guess. But I just remember it just being a lot of fun. It was very quirky. And I bought it when it first came out, and then I must have sold it or did something to it. But then I remember years later going back and buying it again. And I got it for $1 on eBay. I remember, like, all I had to pay was like shipping or something. It was like a couple bucks. The guy ended up like not shipping it off for a very long time, and I kept like getting really angry. And I was about to like open up some sort of issue with them or whatever, so I could get my money back or just get refunded or whatever. But he ended up finally shipping it, and he ended up putting $1 in with the game. So I essentially got it for free.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I forgot it cost you shipping on that game, and which is only a few bucks. So I thought it was pretty funny. That I ended up getting Time Stalkers essentially for free off eBay.
I do actually remember, Chris, you had a Time Stalkers review on Dreamcast as well, and that's where I know most of the knowledge I know about Time Stalkers is from your review. Yeah. And that's what you mentioned there about the levels being reset. That's one thing that put me off playing it. but now you've just mentioned it again. It kind of I want to play it. I do want to play this game. It looks quite good. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it a try. I feel like I actually own it. I was just looking on my shelf. I can't see it, but I vaguely remember having it. So yeah, I have to double check if I have got it or not. Yeah. Did you have any other overlooked Dreamcast games, Chris? Or
that was my biggest one. And as you're saying that, I have found it.
What?
I
the
found
review. Yeah.
The Dreamcast Realm website. Yeah. So you can go to dreamcastrealm.tripod.com. I'll tell you what, I'll read you the summary and then I'll give you my scores real quick. I say, all in all, Time Stalkers is not a bad game. It's just not that good either. Like I said, you'll be better off playing the other two AAA Dreamcast RPGs, but if you're one of those nerdy guys who spends his weekends locked in his room, you might want
to... Like an anime fan on prom night.
Oh my God. You might want to check this out instead of beating Skies of Arcadia for the 4th time. I was very aggressive back then. Damn. I don't know what I was...
Holy crap.
I guess I also go on this like really obscenity laden like thing earlier on in this review. Wow.
Listen, you piece of shit. You're not leaving your mom's basement anytime soon, so you should play this instead, you loser.
I don't know. Wow. Apparently I was very mad in this review about losing your levels. So I was not happy about it.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, restarting each
overall,
dungeon.
I gave it a 6. So
out of 10?
So
6 out of 10.
Wow.
Okay.
So
do you feel like, have you warmed up to it more now since that review? Because it sounds like you have.
I remember it. I definitely remember it more fondly than I think I did at the time. Like I remember it being kind of I think I was more upset because I thought it could have had a lot of promise to it. Right. Like it could have been a much better game, but they made some just stupid decisions. But overall, I really liked it. Maybe I'll stream it one of these days and just kind of go through it and just
let's do it.
I think that would be fun.
Cool.
Maybe we'll do that, Graham, on our Friday, like Chris and Graham play days.
I think we should. Yeah.
One of these people will pick up some Time Stalkers.
You know, you have to call it, of course, the stream.
What's that?
I'd buy that for $1.
Nice.
Yep, that's all I have.
Cool. So, Scotty, what about you? What are your overlooked Dreamcast games?
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. Introduce Corey to it. Rachel loves it as well. It'll Bleed on the Dreamcast was such a weird, campy, awesome, bizarre thing. The thing on the back of the box really says it all. It'll Bleed delivers a badly needed transfusion to the quote been there done that end quote horror game genre, and it's so hard to describe this game to anyone. So it's become a staple in the marathon. We used to switch it out between this and Blue Stinger because Blue Stinger's made by the same Crazy Games. That's what they're called, is Crazy Games. It's such a weird. It is in the most direct sense of the statement. It is a survival horror game because you do have your senses that you have to learn to use to avoid traps while you're getting through this murderous theme park carnival crap land, and you have these goggles that you wear to see traps and scan them in and out. I don't know how to explain this game. I really don't. So it is very much one that we just pop it in and we go. So the plan this year at the marathon is Corey's going to try to get through the first level, which we've never done on stream during the marathon. Whoa. Him and I practiced it recently and it was good to go. It'll Bleed is such a gem. I will stand by saying there is no game out there like it. It is one of a kind. If someone can find a game like it, please tell me because I would love to play those as well. That's why it's one of my favorite games. And then the runner up to that, Tokyo Bus Guide.
Oh yeah!
What the hell?
That game is great.
You heard and saw Chris and Graham's reactions. Like that is a game to play with friends. Maybe get some drinks involved, but it is so weird. A single player simulation games are much bigger in Japan. Like there's I recall reading about the train simulator game, like the monorail almost thing, that has a controller that is literally one button and the stick shift or whatever it is, accelerator stick or something. Released in Japan, I think for Dreamcast, pretty sure for PS2, but Tokyo Bus Guide is literally that. You are a bus driver in Tokyo. You have to be sure to turn your turn signal on, use your brakes, signal, open your door, close your door, turn slowly, don't speed up, follow the speed limit. Like, it's crazy that it is a simulation game. And I don't remember. Oh, it was recommended by someone on Reddit to us because we did pre-marathon posts on at Reddit. Like, what weird games do you want to see? What's some good games that no one talks about? And Tokyo Bus Guy was on there, and it's the best post we've ever done related to the marathon because it's a weird thing. Tokyo Bus Guide.
Yeah, and both those games you mentioned, I experienced for the first time during last year's marathon. So Illbleed, I was like, wow, this game is really strange, but also awesome. And then Tokyo Bus Guide, I vaguely remember this actually being shown in Dreamcast magazines and thinking, this looks like the worst game ever. That's probably, I think Chris has said this as well, is the highlight of my marathon last year. I thought it was so much fun. It was just nuts. It's like, how was this game made? And why would they not make more of it? Because it's like it doesn't sound like it, but it really, really was good. Oh man, I'm definitely up for more of that this year. It's so much fun.
I'm so ready. That's always a highlight of the thing. It's because people are watching us play that and they're like, how are they having fun with a bus driving game? Because you always hear the memes and talk about bus driving simulator, whatever the Penn and Teller game, Desert Bus. That's it. This is not on level with that at all.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real video game versus like you just literally having to drive, like on a straight road in the desert of like Nevada. This was an actual real game, and it's challenging. It's a lot harder than it seems, and you're just driving a bus to try to pick people up, and that's fun. It's weird that it is, but it's a Sega game.
I think it's the ultra realism and how quickly you're penalized that makes it so good. There's something about that. It's like, because you see people playing it like, this looks easy, but when you're actually playing it, it's like, oh my god, this is so. We barely got past that first right hand turn when we played it of the marathon last year. Like so many of us took goes. It's so funny.
Yeah, the Dreamcast, the marathon clips that we have, the clips video on our YouTube. It's worth checking out for the Tokyo Bus Guide sections alone because Chris is just screaming at Graham and there's just chaos. I'm sure and Chris is just in a blind rage when Graham's trying to play this game. It's great.
Oh, it's so good. Man.
Those are
I've got a couple of games as well. I've mentioned this quite a few times on the show, so I'll be brief with it. It's Speed Devils. I love Speed Devils. I think it's such an often overlooked racing game. It's kind of an arcadey style racing game, but there's a bit more to it. So it's not realistic at all, but the levels are really fun. That you have like moving obstacles and levels. Like you have like a T-Rex that comes out on like a Hollywood level. On like other levels, you've got like boulders that come out. There's one level which got like a freaking tornado twister thing going through it. So like you occasionally get picked up by it and thrown around. There's also like a gambling element to it where the rivals that you race against, after the first sort of season, they start to actually challenge you to stuff. So it might be to burst a police radar. So you have to go over the speed limit and burst this police radar to get money. Or it could be they want you to try and beat someone else in the race, or they do a 1-to-1 race with you for their car. So when you beat them, if you lose, they take your car, and you have to make sure you've got enough money to buy a new car. Otherwise, you're basically out of the game. That's it, game over for you. Or if you beat
your fake slips.
It's exactly. It's literally like Fast and Furious. That's what it's like. And if you beat them, you get their car. And the great thing is, they're not for the rest of the season. They're not in it because they don't have a car. They're not in the rest of the season.
I didn't know that.
And the next season, they start with one of the basic cars. So they could have one of the best cars that you get off them, and then the next season they've got like a really basic car. So it's just one of those little touches in this game I absolutely love, and it's just really fun. 2-player on it is terrible, though. I will say that.
I was going to say, don't bother with 2-player.
Oh, wow. It's like they kind of got some of those features and stuff in the single player in there, but it's nowhere near as good. Single player is where it's at for this game. It's so much fun. Me and my friend used to play it a lot, not on 2-player, on single player. We used to take it in turns because we realized very quickly 2-player was terrible. Another game which I want to mention, which often is chosen as a top Dreamcast game, and I don't think anyone's going to argue against it, but I still feel it does not get enough credit. And that is, I've actually got 3 copies I found out. Metropolis Street Racer. Over the years, I managed to pick up multiple copies of it. I have a copy at my parents' house. I don't know how. But yeah, but I don't have as many cases on my shelf. But so yeah, Metropolis Street Racer is. If you don't know about it, it is the forerunner to Project Gotham Racing, which was on the Xbox.
Right.
It is a very realistic game. You drive in realistic cities. It is one of the first games to actually do that properly. And when I'm not saying they've taken a style of New York or where it's got London, San Francisco, and Tokyo in it. It hasn't got a style of those. It's literally got recreated cities in it. And when you actually look at how much detail went into the game, it's insane. And the Dreamcast Junkyard, actually, shout out to them. They've got quite a few articles about how much work went into it and all there's other hidden stuff in it. There's like these weird missing posters on some walls of like missing people in certain areas, like in London. Go check out the Dreamcast Junkyard for those articles because it's actually quite fascinating. Yeah.
Why? What?
Just yeah. But I feel like this is one of those games that really sort of showed how good the Dreamcast was, and it's often just overlooked and how great it was. And the other great thing about it is the realism of the sound effects. When you drive past buildings and stuff, you actually hear the and it's actually done like almost in real time effectively. And it's just insane. And what they did with the game is beautiful. It looks really good. The city. Oh, this is how realistic it is. When I was younger, I never went to London really. Like I went on school trips when we were on a bus or whatever. We got to London. We went out. We stepped out the bus. We're at the place we need to be, like a museum or whatever it was. So I'd never really gone to London. I played this game. I played it tons to death pretty much. Started going to London more and more as I was getting older. And I knew where I was in London because of Metropolis Street Racer. That's how good it was. That's how realistic it was. I've been here before. Wait, no, I haven't. I've been here in Metropolis Street Racer. I know exactly if I walk down this road, I'm going to end up here. And yeah, it's insane. I mean, London's changed a bit over the years now because, cities move on and stuff. So, but the main features of London are still accurate in Metropolis Street Racer. It's nuts. And I think this is something that just doesn't get picked up enough. It's so good. So yeah, Metropolis Street Racer.
Cool. Coincidentally, that's also how Graham learned how to drive.
Yeah. Just on that game, one other thing I loved about it was that depending on the time zone that you're playing in, when you played in America or Japan tracks, it'd be that actual native time over there. So, for example, if I'm playing, if I'm playing in London at 12 o'clock, like 12 p.m., it would be I don't actually know the time difference with San Francisco, but it'd be like the morning in San Francisco, and it'll be nighttime in Japan, if that makes sense. When you race on those tracks.
So it would be, if you use like current time, it's 2 p.m. mine and Chris's time right now, 2 in the afternoon, but it's 7 o'clock at night, your time.
Yes.
So if I was playing in London, if I was driving through London, the sun would be setting maybe right now.
Yes, exactly. And that's
so cool.
It's a great idea. So if I played nighttime my time, it'd be more like afternoon or morning in Japan. It's brilliant. I loved it.
That's nuts.
So yeah, and then Project Gotham Racing,
kind of stuff. But
yeah,
sorry, tangent.
Anyway, so yeah, those are my picks. So I guess that kind of wraps up the show, everybody. I feel like we've gone through the highs and lows of the Dreamcast there. Some good times, some bad times, some stuff in the middle. Great memories. Thanks to everyone who sent in their thoughts, their memories and experiences of the Dreamcast. It's really good.
Yeah,
great to get all that feedback and stuff. And as we said before, we're doing this all in aid of next week. We're doing the Dreamcast 24-hour Dreamless Dreamcast Marathon. Sorry, I don't think I've got the title right there, Scotty.
Nobody does because it's horrible and I didn't think of it, so I won't blame myself.
That's fair enough. But very quickly, Scotty, do you want to quickly mention all about that? Because you're the best person for that, I think.
So September 12th of this year, we are doing the Dreamcast Dreamless 24-hour marathon on our Twitch page. Starting 7 a.m. Eastern Time, going to 7 a.m. Eastern Time. 24 hours, raising money for Extra Life, which is a really good cause. And you can actually join the team. Staff members are joining the team because we're raising money for Pittsburgh Children's Hospital. Anything that goes donated under my name. Brett, anything goes towards that. Towards his name is through West Virginia Children's Hospital, I think. And then Corey actually just hopped on. He's benefiting a hospital in Arkansas. So it's for a really good cause. These are difficult times to begin with, so it's even better than we can. It still blows my mind that we play video games to raise money for children. Like playing video games is benefiting someone. So it's nuts and awesome. But the overall marathon showcases the Dreamcast and its heavy hitters and really niche awesome titles like Pen Triathlon, Tokyo Bus Guide we mentioned, Die Hard Arcade, crazy cool stuff. You'll see the basics like Jet Set and Sonic Adventure we start out with. We do have money goals to, if we hit those, we'll play certain stuff. We'll stop everything and play the big hitters for those are Power Stone 2, Space Channel 5, and Sonic Shuffle. If we raise $666, we'll stop everything within reason. We might have to like cap out the hour or something and then play Sonic Shuffle. That game is torture and fun for everyone because it's entertaining as we suffer through it. It should be called Sonic Suffer. But yeah, September 12th, 7 a.m. Eastern on our Twitch page. I've been doing posts about it, did an unboxing for the Sonic Peach Ring energy drink towards it. Hop on the website, follow us on Twitter, and you'll be keeping up to date with that. September 12th, 7 a.m. And shout outs to our sponsor, Warp Zone. They always help us out with donating games. Oh, and you can win a Dreamcast console. I didn't even mention that. If you're the most active in the chat, if you view the longest, we tally those things up, and you can win a Dreamcast console. This year, we're doing it designated to the region that the person lives in. In previous years, it's only been an American console that indirectly, we didn't mean to, has caused some issues. So it'll be region specific. You could win a console and help, donate towards kids that needed an extra life.
Hey, awesome, amazing. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your Dreamcast stuff. And yes, stay tuned next weekend for that 24-hour marathon. And yeah, I guess we're out of here. So keep on dreaming, everybody. It's still alive.
Hashtag still thinking.
That's what I meant to say. Damn it.
See ya.